Kingdom of Bahrain is taking a really important step here. Encryption is one of the core pieces that really secures all of our digital infrastructure and digital economy. It's what enables all of us to be able to take digital steps and to be able to secure all of our digital transactions, whether it's a bank transaction or to be able to purchase something online. And that encryption, which is at the heart of our entire digital economy, is at risk of being broken when quantum computers come out. And what the Kingdom of Bahrain is doing is preparing for that really important day and that really important step to make sure that they're able to secure all of that encryption and keep their digital economy not just going, but also flourishing as well. And we're really proud with the partnership that we're taking with them.
I want to ask you about Qday in just a moment, but more specifically, when you look at what problem this is ultimately going to solve, what type of attacks does this stop that current cybersecurity tools cannot?
Yeah, of course. So Qday is something that we don't know the exact state of when it's going to come. And Qday is when quantum computers are going to be available and ready to be used. We do have some signals, though. IBM just recently announced that they expect to have what we call a fault-tolerant quantum computer ready by about 2029. So that's within this decade. So it's not something that's super far off. It's actually something that's over the horizon. But there are attacks that are happening today that are looking to attack weak encryption within all of our digital infrastructure. Those are called harvest now, decrypt later attacks. So this is where adversaries, whether they're state actors or any other types of adversaries, are finding holes in encryption in digital infrastructure, breaking in, stealing really sensitive and important data, and then they're waiting for the day for when they can leverage quantum computers to be able to decrypt that data and start to have access to it. So one of the steps, this is why the step that the Kingdom of Bahrain is taking in this partnership is really important, because it's not just preparing for a date in the future for when Qday is going to be coming out. It's actually preparing for a really important problem that needs to be solved for today.
And this is an interesting use case in Bahrain because, as I understand it, this partnership is going to span some 60 ministries on the ground. So what is the timeline for rollout? And can you help us understand the impact on the business as well? What's the monetary value for SandboxAQ?
Yeah, so typically to become what we call quantum safe and to be able to upgrade your encryption, you have to take 3 different steps, and this is pretty standard worldwide. The first step is what we call inventory. So this is scanning and understanding what kind of encryption across your entire environment exists and what kind of risk exists. So the Kingdom of Bahrain, that involves understanding what kind of encryption is being utilized across all the ministries and all the departments of the Kingdom of Bahrain's government. The next step is what we call prioritization. So this involves really ensuring that you're prioritizing fixing the risk associated with your most critical services. So think, for example, citizen services, any services that are revenue generating or that are really, really critical. Those are the ones that you want to prioritize addressing first. And then the third step is what we call crypto agility. So this is upgrading your processes, upgrading your software to be able to adjust and change your encryption algorithms in the future without any downtime for any citizen services or any revenue generating services. And there are platforms like SandboxAQ's AQtiveGuard, which we're partnering with the Kingdom of Bahrain to be able to deploy across all of those departments and all of those ministries that enable you to be able to perform those 3 different steps in a very automated and scalable way. So that the kingdom, an example would be like the Kingdom of Bahrain being able to deploy and solve those 3 steps in a very easy type of way, but any other kind of large organization can be able to do that in a really scalable, automated way without even having to add any added people or having to add any added infrastructure in place.
Right. Mohammed, the reason I ask what it's worth in monetary terms is because obviously this is an opportunity for Sandbox to use Bahrain as a sandbox, if you will, and then scale this technology the Gulf capital. So what's the business opportunity for you right now as a result of this new partnership moving forward?
Yeah, so I can't share the exact monetary value of this specific deal, but what I can share is that this is a very important partnership, like you mentioned. Bahrain is really not just solving what is really an important problem to solve for today, but is also positioning itself to be a really great example, not just for the region, but for the world and globally on the global stage of how does a nation be able to upgrade their systems and really get ready to become quantum safe moving forward into the future. So this is something that is really important for the Kingdom of Bahrain. It's also something we're seeing a lot of momentum as well within the region, within the Gulf countries. An example I can share is the UAE. The UAE just recently shared just rolled out a national policy around encryption. So really a lot of opportunities, not just kind of within the Gulf countries, but also globally as well. We see more and more countries who are really prioritizing encryption as a really important national policy and something that they're looking to address. And we're very excited to be partnering with not just the Kingdom of Bahrain, but with other organizations and governments as well in the region and around the world.
Indeed. So expand on what you're seeing right now in both the UAE and Saudi Arabia in particular, because, of course, the threat landscape continues to evolve. We speak with cybersecurity experts quite frequently on this program because it is such an investable area. And, of course, what we hear more and more about is how these threats are becoming increasingly sophisticated and increasingly widespread as well, not just across the region, but indeed around the world. So how are the Gulf capitals responding, and what are you seeing on the ground right now?
Yeah, so there's two kind of big threats or big themes that we're seeing. One of them we've spoken about, which is the threat with encryption and becoming post-quantum safe. And the Gulf countries, like we were just talking about, are really responding well and responding proactively with the partnership that we've done with the Kingdom of Bahrain as an example, the national policy that the UAE just rolled out. The other big threat that we're seeing is with AI agents, where malicious actors, where state actors are really leveraging AI agents to automate attacks across both government entities, but also commercial entities as well. Anthropic just released a really interesting report that outlines exactly this from a few weeks ago. So what we're going to be seeing and what we are seeing already is an increase in these AI coordinated attacks against both government entities and commercial entities as well. And those are some things that the Gulf countries are really starting to prepare for, in much the same way that they're preparing for Qday and for encryption, which is really understanding your environment, being able to categorize the risk that exists with AI agents, and then putting the appropriate steps in place to be able to resolve those risks so that they can continue to build out quantum safe, secure digital services that will power their digital economies, especially as they themselves start to utilize more and more AI to be able to power more productivity and to be able to power more cost savings as well. And we're really proud to be partnering with organizations, not just in the Gulf and worldwide, but globally as well, not just to help solve with the encryption problem, but also help them with their safe and scalable deployment of AI throughout their entire digital economy.
And what also makes this interesting to me is the fact that 2025 has been a year where we have seen vast amounts of capital being deployed into artificial intelligence, into quantum, into advanced computing, and also into, of course, the AI infrastructure layer as well. So massive technology investments in the region, and cybersecurity, of course, now being front and center as frontier in these markets now, because it is such a key consideration as we see that level of investment taking place. But Mohammed, when you look at the countries that have moved on quantum security and countries that have not, do you think specifically this creates, a competitive advantage for when it comes to attracting that investment and digital infrastructure moving forward? Because in the future, we could see a situation where some countries in the region have moved to address this issue, and Qday, as you mentioned, and other countries that have not.
Yeah, of course. I think the organizations and the countries that are taking proactive steps today are setting themselves up to be able to be powering the digital economies of the future. One of the big trends that we're seeing today is the rollout and the advent of leveraging AI within digital systems to be able to power things like I had just mentioned of productivity gains, to be able to power citizen services, to be able to have cost savings as well. And that's rolling out very, very quickly. It's already started to roll out this year. We expect that that's going to be rolling out a lot faster and at a lot more wider of a scale next year. What's really, really important is that security keeps up with the pace of rollout of these AI agents and AI systems to power these productivity gains and these cost savings as well. And that means that you want to secure your digital infrastructure. You need to make sure that your digital infrastructure and the encryption that you're utilizing is safe and secure to protect against any malicious actors or adversaries breaking into that, being able to break into that systems to be able to do things like harvest now and decrypt-later attacks. You also want to make sure that you have the right systems in place and the right security policies in place to protect against what we call shadow AI, which is being able to have an understanding of what kind of AI you yourself are utilizing within your infrastructure, making sure that that AI is safe and secure and being able to use it at scale in a way that will power your economy moving forward. So absolutely, we do see those first ones who are moving first and are prioritizing this problem today are the ones who are setting themselves up to be able to capture the opportunity in the future.